I want to talk about this book today. This book's personally helped me a lot, and I would like to read you a passage. The amateur believes he must first overcome his fear, then he can do his work. The professional knows that the fear can never be overcome. He knows there is no such thing as a fearless warrior or a dread free artist. Have you ever had a goal or a dream like writing a book, starting your own YouTube channel, working out every day, or launch your own business? But you can't seem to get started, or maybe you start and soon you're stuck in procrastination, doubt, or distraction. The invisible force holding you back has a name. It's called resistance. Today, I'm excited to talk to you about an incredible book that has changed my life and helped me see things clearly. The War of Art by Steven Pressfield. I first heard about this book years ago while I was listening to Joe Rogan's podcast.
It's so good. I bought a stack of them and I kept it in my office. And when podcast guests would come over, I would go, "Come here, you lazy bitch. Take this and go write. Go get something done, man. Get something done."
And honestly, after reading it, I understand why. It is that powerful. The War of Art is all about the internal battles that we face when we're trying to do something meaningful. Steven Pressfield breaks it down into three parts. First, he explains what resistance is and why it's our greatest enemy.
Not only is it universal and that everybody experiences it, but they all seem to experience it with the same script. You're not worthy, you're too old, too young, too fat, too thin, whatever. Or let's do something else. Let's distract ourselves with something else. So everybody gets the same thing. I mean, I always say that it's a force of nature. It's not personal. It's not specific to you, even though that voice in your head sounds like it is specific to you. It's saying Joe, and then it's hitting you right in the points that are your sore points,
Yeah.
But it's really not personal. Everybody seems to experience the same thing.
Second, he talks about turning pro. And finally, he dives into the deeper idea of connecting with creativity and inspiration. Now, the core idea in the book, and what I think you will benefit from the most, is resistance. Resistance isn't some external obstacle. It's the voice in your head telling you things like, "I'll start tomorrow," "I'm not good enough," or "What if I fail?" It's every excuse you've ever made to avoid doing something that really matters to you. I'd like to share a powerful quote from the book, and I have it here actually. I marked this part to read in front of the camera. Here goes. Resistance will tell you anything to keep you from doing your work. It will lie, distract, and discourage you. It will pretend to be your friend, but it's always lying, always trying to stop you. Resistance will tell you anything to keep you from doing your work. It will lie, distract, and discourage you. It will pretend to be your friend, but it's always lying, always trying to stop you. Everyone experiences resistance. Me, you, even the most successful people on the planet. But the key difference is how they respond to it. Let's go through some key lessons from each part of the book. In part 1, Pressfield shows us exactly how resistance shows up. It could be procrastination, it could be fear, it could be self-doubt, and my favorite, it could be perfectionism. And I'll give you an example of each. So we have things like always thinking you'll start later, or believing you're not good enough, worrying about failing or looking foolish. Perfectionism, never feeling ready or waiting for the perfect moment to start. The big takeaway here is that recognizing resistance is half the battle. Once you see it clearly, it becomes easier to beat. In part 2, Pressfield tells us the solution by calling it turning pro, which means treating your passion or goal like a real job, not a hobby. You show up every day, put in the work even when you don't feel like it. He makes a simple but powerful point. Amateurs wait for inspiration, but professionals just get started. They push through distraction and doubts because they're committed to their goals. Turning pro means you stop making excuses and start making progress. In the final part, Pressfield talks about creativity and inspiration. He believes that when you consistently show up and do your work, inspiration will eventually find you. The biggest breakthroughs often happen right after the toughest moments of resistance. This book has impacted me personally because it showed me clearly how resistance was holding me back from things I truly wanted. Before reading it, I constantly procrastinate or get distracted whenever I tried something new, like starting this channel. But after understanding what resistance really was, I realized it was just my fears disguised as excuses. Now, when I feel resistance, I instantly recognize it and it's easier to push through and keep going. So, if you ever felt stuck or struggled to follow through on something important to you, this book is exactly what you need. I highly recommend that you pick up a copy. The War of Art is short, it's powerful, it's truly life changing. I would love to hear from you, and please tell us about your experience with resistance. How do you push past it? Drop your thoughts in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this video or found it helpful, please like, share, and subscribe, and share it with someone who might need this. And thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.